Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'd like to go back to a country I've visited fairly recently, and that is Lithuania, and take another look at one of their other menus. Now this is their NR9 or menu 9, and I believe it's stewed pork with pearl barley. So let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. Now I have here on the table this Lithuanian NR9 or menu 9. I believe this particular one is pork stew with pearl barley, and as we've seen before now, very similar size looking bag to the US MRE, similar sort of texture but obviously green. There's a little peelable strip at the top, but I find they don't generally work, swallowing my words there, so I'll bring in a little friend of mine just to help slice open the bag. So what does this pack actually contain? So straight off the top we have a pack with the mains, and inside the mains we also have a flameless ration heater. So there's a flameless ration heater and the mains. We also have a simple folding stove. There is one accessory bag, and we'll have a quick look at that now while we're here, and that contains some chocolate, some jam or honey. I think this one's actually jam. Usually they contain honey, but I think that one's a jam. There is a vitamin C drink there. There is a 12 gram of sugar, and that one is a chicken broth. That's the first time I've had the chicken broth, so that'd be nice to try that one. Obviously the little bag that it came in. We also have another little accessory pack, and you can see straight through this one without opening it, a box of matches, some fuel tabs, a spoon and a little wet nap, so I shan't open that one just now. We have a pack of the now infamous and famous hard crack tack biscuits or crackers, and last but not least a nice large bag of plain simple almonds. So this is the contents of the Lithuanian NR9. So let's get these out on a tray and see what they look and taste like. So as you can see, I now have here laid out on the tray the contents of this Lithuanian NR9, and the first thing I noticed is there's no actual coffee or tea in this one, but there is a soup. It's a vegetable soup. It's the first time I've actually seen the vegetable soup in one of these rations, so I think I'm going to start there. So plain simple bag. I've read the ingredients. It does seem as a simple vegetable soup, and it calls for 400 millilitres of boiling water. Now the kettle is just boiled, so should be nice and hot, and it's a simple soup powder mix, typical sort of instant soup. And using the spoon that came with it, we'll just give that about half a mug first, which is a bit less than the 400 mils. You can always add, but you cannot take it away, so best be cautious. And even with less, it is a very watery soup, a very watery looking soup. We'll just give that a few minutes, see if it will thicken any. We shall now move on to the beverage base powder, and this is the cherry. Again, it's the first time I've actually had a cherry, so there's a lot of new flavour ones for me in this ration. I've had Lithuanian rations before, but there is some new flavours here. Very granular, very large pieces of sugar. You can see the sugar glistening in there. And we shall just bring this up to a full glass of cold water I believe you can make these with hot water as well on a cold day, but today is quite warm in the UK here. We're having a bit of a heat wave, 37 degrees Celsius for the last 3 or 4 days. Unheard of, virtually unheard of here in the UK. So we'll just get that one mixed. Now unusually we also have a 12 gram of sugar, but without any tea or coffee. I'm not going to find a need for that, I don't think, so we'll just leave that there. I have pre-warmed the mains, but I'll keep it in the pack for now. We'll have a look at these almonds, plain simple almonds, just roasted almonds, sorry, unroasted almonds, no salt, just plain simple almonds. Nice large bag, just empty a few in there. Of course we have the infamous hardtack biscuits, Panzer plates, 4 in this particular pack. Sometimes they come in pairs, but this one has 4. Seen these many times before now, many reviewers have done these. They are hard, they are eatable, but they are very hard, containing caraway seeds. Again, we'll just get a couple out as for demonstration, we don't need all 4. We have the chocolate. These are usually 2 pieces of chocolate. These are nice fresh rations, 2018-2019, so I'm hoping it's not bloomed. And there is 2 lovely pieces of dark chocolate there, no blooming going on, which is always nice to see. Now again we have some jam. This is black currant jam. Many times these rations have honey, so it's nice again to have something a little bit different. I say this menu 9 does seem to be different to most of the rest, so a little nice tub of black currant jam there. And then finally we're actually up to the mains. Now this one is in English as well. It says stewed pork with pearl barley mash, so stewed pork with groats. It does actually say on the translation. Nice and hot. As I say, been boiling for 10 minutes just to get this into a bowl. Plenty of oils there, plenty of moisture. So I think I'll just give that a bit of a mix around, and we can see straight away bit of moisture, bit of gravy, pork and barley. So where shall we start? I think, because this is a new one, I'd like to start with the vegetable soup. So little floating bits of herbs there. Wow, extremely salty, very thin. In fact, with that much water it's unpleasantly salty. I'm going to give it a little bit more water. It's already thin. I shall bring in another old Lithuanian spoon I have sitting there, but the salt content there, now that has made the flavour very thin, I'm sure. Hopefully taking away some of that salt. Calmed it down quite a lot. Very thin, very lightly flavoured now. Extremely salty, even with a full mug of water. Can't say that's my most favourite soup. It would be nice if there was something more prominent than just salt, but it's different, it's hot. With the full mug it'd certainly be comforting on a cold night, but extremely salty and not a lot of other flavour. A little bit of standard vegetable flavouring, but the salt is overpowering. Okay, so look at this cherry. Artificial cherry flavour, sort of thing that you find in candies or sweets, that sort of artificialness, but it's nicely done, not overly sweet. For the amount of sugar that's in there, it doesn't taste overly sweet. Nice, mild, cherry flavoured, refreshing cold drink. Now, I think we'll go straight to the mains. So this is stewed pork with pearl barley mash or pearl barley groats, depending on the translation, all mixed together. You can see there is big chunks of pork in there, finely ground, with a load of other, so a bit of carrot I think, and a few other little basic vegetables. Very soft. Again, reasonably salty, but in my opinion could lacks a little bit of pepper. It would be nice to have a little bit of pepper here, perhaps black pepper, but soft, comforting, salty. It's a rib filling, comforting sort of meal. Certainly help fill their stomach, take away those hunger pains. Nice, tasty, slightly under seasoned for me, a little bit more black pepper, but certainly salted plenty. Easy to eat, easy to chew. Nice, tasty, comforting dish. We'll take a look at some of these almonds. Plain, simple almonds, straight out of the shell, still got the brown bark on them, a little bit of fibre, it's good for you. Fresh. Fresh, raw almonds. What can you say? Perfect condition, perfectly fresh, very tasty. I do actually like almonds and hazelnuts and Brazil nuts without salt. Peanuts I think do need salt. I'm quite happy to eat these without. Very tasty, very fresh, very good quality. Plenty of fibre, plenty of energy. I'm going to cleanse my palate with a little bit more of the soup. Still extremely salty. Extremely salty. Let's have a look at the, I'll leave the chocolate till last. Have a look at the hardtack biscuits again, seen many times before. If you try and bite these with your front teeth, you have a risk of cracking your crowns or your teeth. I find much better to snap them. Caraway seeds, crisp, hard, and if you break them into bite-sized pieces, mix them with a little bit of the mains. Far more palatable, far more enjoyable. Very hard, basic wheat cracker with caraway seeds. Caraway seeds are in the background, but it is a good base cracker. Just very hard on the teeth, but once you learn, break it in smaller pieces. A nice, good, decent background flavour. Let's clean the spoon there before I go for my jam. So, blackcurrant jam. Blackcurrant is well known in Europe, certainly in the UK. Nice, thick, set jam. Nice and sweet. Often blackcurrant jam can be a little bit tart. This is lots of sugar. There's a lot of sugar in there, sweetened it right up. Similar flavour, if you're not sure, similar flavour to a blackberry. Countries that don't have black currants, if you have blackberries, it's a similar sort of flavour to a blackberry jam. Very good quality, nice and thick, extremely sweet. A lot of sugar in this jam for blackcurrant jam. A little bit there on the cracker. Remembering to use the side teeth. On the cracker, the caraway seeds takes away a little bit of the flavour. Doesn't necessarily need the caraway seeds for that jam, but still again makes a nice crispy, crunchy sort of pudding. On my side there. Chocolate. Again, had these many times before. Find them enjoyable. Excuse me then, just having a caraway seed stuck in my crowns already from that biscuit. Dark chocolate, high cocoa content, quite soft today because it is 30 degrees outside, over 30 degrees outside. Normally breaks with a crack, but already it's starting to melt in my fingers. Today it's very soft, ordinarily crispy, but dark chocolate, a lot of cocoa, melts in your mouth, coats your tongue. Good quality, high cocoa content, plenty of sugar to take the bitterness away from that cocoa. Sometimes high cocoa content chocolate is bitter. This isn't bitter at all. Good quality, melting all over my fingers. Dark chocolate. Need to get the melted chocolate off my hands. Normally they don't melt, they're normally quite a firm chocolate, but today, as I said, very hot day. Chocolate on my wrapper there. So for once I do actually need the wet nap to serve a purpose, get the chocolate off my fingers. Reasonable size, plenty of moisture. You can see there is a little foam on there. You can also see it does do the job of removing those sticky fingers. The chocolate has come off nicely. Lemon smell, slightly kitchen cleaner lemon fragrance, but pleasant enough. Does the job. Not the strongest in the world, but certainly took off that sticky chocolate, and the lemon smell soon dissipates and is gone. So, quick recap. The soup, very salty. That is the biggest flavour. Salt, 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 extremely salty. There is a typical vegetable stock cube sort of flavour to that, but overridingly salt, salt, salt. Not my favourite soup, unfortunately. I've had much better. It's hot, it's salty. On a cold day you'll certainly enjoy that, but you'd need a lot of water after, I think, from your canteen just to take that saltiness away. The cherry flavoured beverage base, artificial cherry, sort of artificial flavouring you get in sweets and candies, but that said, that's not a negative. It's a nice, tasty, delicately sweetened cherry drink. The stewed pork with groats, filling, comforting, nice and soft. Certainly don't need to chew. The pork is actually cooked until it's extremely soft. I personally would have liked a little bit more black pepper, but that said, apart from that, the absence of that, the other seasoning, there's plenty of other seasoning, plenty of salt, spices, a little bit of gravy, nice flavoursome, comforting meal. Almonds, plain, simple almonds, straight out shell, complete with fibre, nice, tasty, fresh nut. Jam, blackcurrant jam. For a typical blackcurrant jam, it's quite sweet. Usually they're a little bit tart, but this is a very, very sweet, contains a lot of sugar. But again, nice, thickly set, good quality jam. You can see the seeds from the blackcurrants in there, so you know there's actual fruit in it. The chocolate, as always, extremely good quality, high cocoa content, nice sugar content to take away any bitterness from the cocoa. Just today, a little bit soft because it is over 30 degrees Celsius as I speak. And finally, the hardtack crackers, seen many times before. They are what they are, a wheat cracker, caraway seeds, extremely hard. Personally, I find them to break them into little pieces to save biting them initially, and then they're okay to eat, to make a good background base cracker for both the sweet and the savoury. So, overall, very enjoyable, very interesting, very tasty meal. Again, certainly one I'd be quite happy to have in the field. So I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you, and goodbye.